The show can't start until we crack open a bottle of Revelton. Whether it's their crisp, clean vodka, the bold spice of their rye whiskey, the rich smoothness of bourbon, or the original honey whiskey that started it all, every pour is a taste of craft and passion straight from the heart of Iowa. So pour yourself a drink, settle in, and get ready to relax, laugh, and enjoy the show.
Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media, and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
You can lift your weights, you can run your miles, but you ain't got what's been earned through trials. It ain't in the gym, ain't in the youth, it's in busting knuckles and hard-lived truth. Back's been sore since 99, but I still stack wood and I'll still outgrind. Call me slow, call me old, but I got hands that could bend pure gold. Ain't about muscle, ain't about speed, it's about the fire when the time comes to lead. You can talk real tough, you can flex real wide, but when it's time to dig in, boys, step aside. Old man strength, built to last, years of work, no need for class. Ain't no quit, ain't no doubt, you don't know tough till you've been worn out. Woke up stiff, but I'll shake it loose. Been swinging these hands since Reagan was news. Call it stubborn, call it pride, call it wisdom that just won't die. Ain't got time for excuses, kid. I was up at dawn while you just hit. No silver spoon, no easy ride, just the kind of strength that don't...
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Old Man Strength, brought to you from the AKC Andrew Downs Marketing Studios. And I would read all of our sponsors, but we have a bunch and we just went through them on the opening, which is why it's like 185 minutes too long.
I was just gonna say, like, every time you're like, "Hey Tim, do you want to kick it off?" I'm like, I don't even know that I can keep up with all the sponsors. Like, you've been busting your ass to get all the sponsorship, which is amazing because we're able to do some great things, some great charitable contributions that we're able to give through this network. But dear God, every time we launch this thing, you've got like Steve's Lawn Care and
know, right?
Jeb's Underwear Emporium and like all this other stuff. Like, I don't know where you're getting all this stuff. I think mostly it's probably
We were
just-
gonna have Jeff's underwear, but
Yeah.
I offered to model it, and they said, "Never mind, we'll pass."
Well, I think these are all just shell companies that you're just this is some sort of tax write-off for you is what I've decided this is.
100%. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, right. 100%. Oh God. So we're gonna get right into it tonight because our guest is got family duties and things like that, and he was kind enough to hop on tonight. Tim, I'll let you do the introduction this time.
Yeah, we're really excited to welcome back to Old Man Strength, Mr. Brent Blum. He is one of our favorite people to have on here. He's been somebody that we've had on before. He has a lot of great, wonderful insights on the world of college athletics. So, Brent, welcome back to Old Man Strength.
Good to be back here with you guys. Appreciate you. And Ship, appreciate the hustle, man. You're a grinder. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm very proud of you from afar of seeing how you've grown Three Beards. So admire. I know it's not easy. So keep up the grind, my friend.
I appreciate that. It's a labor of love, to be honest with you. So early morning edits and late night recordings and working around my family and a full-time job, and then all the great content creators we have. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, you deserve it. I know it's a tireless and a lot of sometimes a thankless job, but those who are in it realize how hard the work it is. So kudos to you, my friend.
well, and I also
And
need
you too, Tim. I know you're, it's hard being as good looking as you are, Tim.
That's right.
It is.
I need
it
a
is.
revenue stream to pay for the repairs on the ambulance.
Yeah, there
It
you go.
is.
Yeah, we gotta get
it
the
is a
ambulance up and running. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
running again. So
So Brent, how have you been?
I'm good. I am. We're finally outside of the college basketball season for Iowa State, and so on my end, I can kind of officially close my official book on the NIL world. I hung on here and really felt some kinship with the last couple Iowa State teams just because I was involved with putting the pieces together for them. And so for me, it was really kind of the end of a story of seeing that last group, and it was a bummer of way for each of those teams to lose on the men's basketball and the women's basketball side. And obviously a lot going on with the portal about to open up, and we can get into all those details. But for me, it's similar to what Chris said. It was a labor of love, but honestly, my stress level is a lot healthier these days than it was when the portal opened literally a year ago for men's and women's basketball. And I'm a happy camper these days. Miss some of the things and being a part of a team in a lot of ways, but gosh, guys, it seems like, and I'm sure we'll get into it throughout the podcast here, every day that goes by, college sports gets a little bit more messy. And was grateful to be a part of it, but also grateful to not be a part of it in some ways too. Right now, we just can be a dad and enjoy the games and be a Cyclone fan again, really.
Well, we were just talking about it before the on air. This is kind of a nice little night for you. You're not sweating it out and figuring it out or whatever. Let's start the question here. Which was the hardest portal to work? That portal that would open up for football or basketball?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was basketball. I would say, and again, the football is just such a mass of numbers. They were really a well-oiled machine in that they had a lot more staff members, guys, so they kind of had an idea, and their budget was their budget. What happened in basketball, and thankfully things have changed a little bit this year as far as Iowa State, which is healthy. But last year at this time, I'll just tell you. Let me tell you an anecdote. I haven't told this anywhere before, but I'm gonna tell it to you guys here. So it was a year ago, literally tonight. It was the national championship night. Houston was playing Florida. I was still running the collective, but I had essentially been hired, although not announced yet, to be the director of NIL for Iowa State. So long story short, but I was invited on a networking trip with a bunch of Iowa State corporate sponsors. Okay, we'll leave it at that. So it was just happened to be in the Dominican Republic. So again, not twist my arm. Had to go. But long story short, that weekend started getting the weekend prior to with that Monday night. So I left for the Dominican on Sunday evening. That weekend started getting murmurs that hey, something's going on with a couple of Iowa State's players, namely Joshua Jefferson, who. All three of those. So let me back up. The three main priorities for us in the portal were Joshua Jefferson, Taman Lipsey, and Milan Momcilovic. Clearly, I mean those are the main dudes.
Sure.
And
Obviously, yeah.
they all had verbally agreed, and verbal is what it is. It wasn't a written contract. They would come back following the loss to Ole Miss. So we had literally fundraised 9 months in advance. That's kind of how the collective world worked. Is we would fundraise in advance. This is, by the way, prior to when the athletic department could do some of the revenue sharing. So it was still allowed, it was still legal, it was all above board. So we had fundraised enough to what we thought we were in a very comfortable spot with those three in particular to have them back for another season. Well, Joshua, turns out, got a monster offer from another school, and we didn't hear from him for a couple days. And immediately I get the bat signal from... You can imagine who. It's like, hey, start making some calls. We might have an issue coming up. So I know what that means. So, started making some calls. Get on a plane, land in the Dominican. It was DEFCON 4 of like, okay, now it's for real. This is a real offer. We got to figure this out for him, or else our future All-American forward is going to enter the portal. And it's like, oh my gosh, like that's not great. And it wasn't a small number, by the way. So made a couple calls. Thankfully, my favorite part of this whole deal, and I promise there's a point to all this, was the relationships that I got, the great people I got to meet. So made several phone calls that weekend and was able to raise enough for me to feel comfortable to commit to Joshua's agent that we would have enough for what their asking price was. So land off the plane. I'm on my iPad, docu-signing him a contract through the collective to keep Joshua there. And I'm feeling great. I'm like, disaster averted. got to raise some money. I got a couple months to do it. Keep in mind, we had this window up until July 1 before revenue sharing kicked in from the school. So collectives were still allowed to kind of raise whatever they wanted. And that's why the price honestly went up across the board.
Sure.
And that's why Joshua and a couple other guys got some monster offers that nobody was anticipating, because it was essentially a blank check for some of these schools. So anyway, Joshua's locked in. We signed him through some extra dollars through some donors. I still had a couple months to raise the dollars to pay him out before July 1. Okay, success. All right, I'm going to go enjoy my evening in the Dominican with my lovely wife, and all was good. Next morning, get a call early, and it's like, hey, we got a problem. And I'm like, we do not have a problem. We're set.
Right.
We're set. We're got a contract. I got it right here.
I fixed this last night.
We are good, guys. It's like, not him, somebody else. One of the other big three had another offer and needed to find some funds to make sure that offer was not entertained. It's like, and it was made very clear to me, we're not losing this individual, because this individual is very instrumental to Iowa State and his legacy, and you can kind of pick up the pieces who that local gentleman might have been that was instrumental.
Kilderman, yes.
It's like, all right. So I'm down. I'm like, just say yes. Like, we'll figure it out. I got 2 months. We're gonna figure it out. And it's like, all right, okay, send the contract. Okay, done. Figure it out. Hour passes. We still got a problem. I'm like, nope, we don't have a problem. Third individual also has a monster offer and wants us to at least get closer to what his offer was. All three turned down significant sums of money to come back to Iowa State. But it meant, guys, just to give you some math, it meant the collective had to raise $2.5 million in 2 months. And we had till June 30th to do it, because once you got to June 30th, Iowa State couldn't help out because they were already at the budget number for their sport. So it's now you've got 2 months to raise a significant sum of money and a deadline to do it. And I've never been more stressed in my life. Like, at that point, I'm like, they all agreed to stay. They have written signed contracts. So now it's on us to find the funds to pay them, when we had a fifth of it fundraised at the time. And so for 2.5 months, I didn't sleep really at all. If you remember the podcast from back then, I was a mess. Yeah. I literally was on every single donor dinner, every golf outing I could go on, any fundraiser possible, to just try and pick up the pennies. I was trying to do all the social media pushes, and it probably wore people out, and I understand it. But it not until June 29th did I have to chase down a pretty significant Iowa State donor who wrote me a check on the spot to cover the rest. I was asking ChatGPT, what happens if you don't pay contracts out? Like, will I go to jail here, or what's going on? So thankfully, make a long story longer, was able to pay it out in time. But it was at that point I basically said, this is a lot, and I was super grateful, number one, for those donors, and I'm telling you, everybody that gave $5 to collective, bought a We Will pizza, bought an Ames lager. We needed every single penny to even get to that threshold. And it was at that point, it was like, I'm going to enjoy this season, because I can't really do that. I literally about killed myself just with stress of there was so much riding on it that it was just unhealthy. And I don't fault the players at all. I will never fault a player for trying to, this is their main
maximize their
yeah, absolutely. Like, I never blame the players. Sometimes I'll blame the agents. Okay.
Well, that was going to be my follow up is, two things at play here. Those agents were talking amongst themselves and saying, hey, Joshua Jefferson just got this.
Absolutely.
They were playing that game as well. And what I think a lot of people don't realize is I remember this at the time that you and Crystal were in the Dominican Republic, and how much heat fans were giving you because, they're on vacation. Yeah. And they're doing all these things. What's that costing the collective? Right. Are we giving money? Are we giving money? Are we giving money so that they can go on a family holiday? And the stress that you're going through and whatever else. I think those are the things that I think are important for people to hear, that it wasn't just, that wasn't it.
No,
that wasn't it.
it was I mean it was literally I was partly there because we ended up getting several companies to sign up for NIL for this year by being down at that thing. So again, I was invited to go down there. Like that was not a family trip.
Right.
In fact, I didn't really enjoy it much at all because I was on the phone and on my DocuSign for most of that trip trying to secure not only those guys but the women's basketball team as well. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into the women's basketball deal with Audie, Addie, and Jada, but they also had other opportunities last year that we were trying to increase their dollars as well. So it wasn't much of a vacation. Again, always great to go down to Dominican, but that was the hardest part, Chris and Tim, was my wife volunteered. She didn't get a dime out of the collective, and some of the really just
They were terrible.
ridiculous things that it just wasn't fair. Like I put myself in this spot. I took this job. She didn't. She did all this to help me, and because she loves Iowa State and she loves the players. Like she wanted to help the players out. She didn't get it to be vilified online by some of these people who. And it is what I understand. Like I am in the middle of the internet. I get it.
Right.
I understand how it works, but it was super unfortunate. And we kind of decided that the last spring is like. This isn't good for us with a 6 and a 4-year-old.
Yep.
We love Iowa State, but it was kind of that spring. Why I say that, share that story was kind of the point where we both agreed that we love this. The players are unbelievable. Their parents are unbelievably kind, but it just college sports was in such a weird spot. And at that point, I said I don't think we can do this anymore, or else something's going to break here. That's not healthy.
Yeah, I mean, even just go back even 5 years, certainly go back 10 years. The idea that you would be essentially the vice president of a professional sports organization, like that's essentially what it is, right? Like thinking of yourself in the front office of the Timberwolves or something like that. The work that you maybe thought you were getting into and the work that you very quickly got into, like how many times did you stand back and were like the personification of the boy that escalated quickly meme?
Every day. I got into it thinking, hey, this will be fun. We'll throw out some stuff on Twitter. We'll raise, several $1,000s a month, and we'll help some of these guys out so their parents can attend a game. Never envisioned. We ended up growing last year. The collective did $8.5 million.
Yeah.
And that was never... I'm glad. Like we needed every single penny to do it, but that was never the goal. And we didn't grow. We didn't have staff. It was me and my wife.
Yeah.
And then we had some volunteers like Chris helped me several times with different events, and so grateful for people who went out of their way to help. But it was just a lot. And we worked from home, and like my office is still full of just old We Will stuff that we can't, it's just kind of around because we didn't have money to do an office. We didn't have money to do anything. I ran the finances and the fundraising, and Crystal did all the marketing and the events. And the last year we did 26 different fundraising events in a calendar year, and we needed every single one of them. So you're right. I loved every second of it, but also there were times like, why am I in the middle of this?
Yeah.
Right.
Like I'm dealing with sports agents. What is this? Yeah.
There's all these people making millions of dollars. And listen, I'm not complaining about my compensation at all. Like I'm very grateful for that. But you've got coaches making millions, administrators making millions, agents that are making millions, players that are making millions. And me and my wife are just like, we're kind of in the middle of the wheel of this. All these people are calling us. Wait, I've got mega donors are saying, "What are you doing to fix this?" I'm like, "What are you doing to fix?" It was just it was totally surreal. I'm glad I was part of it.
Supposed to be here today.
Yeah, I was like, what? It went from. That's a great point, Tim. It went from 0 to 100 really quickly, but I'm also very proud of all the players, the coaches, the donors that all supported it, because I know things got a little weird in the last 9 months for Iowa State, but during that 3 to 4 years, it was a really great time for Iowa State athletics. And, I think about the Jaden Higginses and the Jalen Knowles and the Taman Lipsies and all of those people that Cyclone fans and kids in particular, including mine, got to appreciate. And I'm glad they stayed. And I'm glad they're Cyclones. And I'm glad that, I still keep in touch with some of those guys, and they're wonderful human beings. And that's the part that I will always remember. Yeah, the stress, I got a little, I still get, now I get carded when I go to the bar at age 40. which is great. But the stress added up, and I'm glad I'm not in it every day, but also grateful for the people like you guys that I met along the way. And I know it's kind of cheesy, but it really is about. It's less about what happens, the outcomes, and more about the people. And my wife and I met so many great people that we're still lifelong friends with because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think about Crystal, and like you're hard pressed to find a bigger Iowa State fan out there,
Gosh,
and
she loves it. Yeah,
and the fact that she was putting all of this in there just to support Iowa State, to support you,
that's
honestly, right? Like,
yeah.
like that is probably very humbling, but it is just I don't think for all of the kind of the hates and the second guessing and the armchair quarterbacking that goes on online, I don't think people understand that this was not like, this cushy ride, that this was stress and blood and sweat and tears and time and all of those things. So yeah, kudos to you, kudos to her. Really a big kudos to Crystal.
Well, and then I mean, she was working a full-time job for most of it and still helping me out. And she was basically doing two full-time jobs. Plus, when we started, we had a 3 and a 2-year-old. So not the best decision making on my end to embrace that. But I'm glad we did. Like I keep coming back to it, and I know it's been an odd last 6 months, but the coaches, the players, all the good people around, it made me appreciate what they do even more. And yes, there's a lot of grossness about college athletics, and you'll hear about it, and it's going to get really weird in the next 3 weeks with the portal. But there's also so many good things that don't get talked about that were my favorite parts. It's the J.R. Singletons volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club on every day after practice just because, and him paying off his parents' mortgage and truck and he didn't make a lot of NIL, but he made enough to pay off his parents' mortgage and truck. And then after they won the Pop-Tarts Bowl, right after the game, he sent me and Crystal a 200-word text message thanking us for changing his life. And it's like that stuff that you don't get. I mean, again, I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. But that's the part of it, of the same reason I loved fundraising when I worked for the College of Business at Iowa State, is you're changing young people's lives in a lot of way. And yeah, I didn't get into it for Iowa State basketball players to make $1.5 million, $2 million. But I'm glad we did. I'm glad they got that, because it led to how many great memories for Iowa State fans across the nation this year. And it didn't end the way we wanted it, but hopefully that created another Cyclone fan somewhere along the line that will invest back in a place that we all love too. So it was all worth it in the end. And yeah, I could be bitter about how some of the stuff, like what happened and some of the tough conversations that I had to endure along the way, but I'm a better person for it. And I think Iowa State, has to go through some growing pains right now, but I think Iowa State's going to be better for it as well, as long as the adults eventually step up in the room for college athletics as a whole.
Well, that's to be seen for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the very beginning. I want a twofold question. How did they come to you with the idea that they want you to go ahead and take this over? And where was the conversation about coming up with the We Will name? Because I think that's fascinating.
Yeah. So that's a great question, Chris. And so ultimately,
Dan McCarney called me a professional. So
well, you are. And Dan probably used several adjectives at once when he called you professional. Because the man loves his adjectives in series.
He does. Absolutely does.
That's my favorite thing. No, so the collective actually got started without me, and the name came up without me. And then, again, this is where I owe all the credit in the world to a couple of folks. Ryan Harklaw. So Hark's the sideline reporter for Iowa State football, but he also was a great player at Iowa State in the late 90s and then played for the Jaguars, got a cup of coffee in the NFL. Hark has now become a uber successful business person. He just so happens to be one of the head honchos at Farm Bureau, by the way, which we'll get into, I'm sure, at some point. So Hark started it along with another an Ankeny business person named Jason Luch. Jason owns Cyclone Fanatic. And both kind of came at it from two different sides. Those two didn't know each other. Jason wanted to support the men's basketball program in TJ, and Ryan and Matt Campbell had developed a really good relationship because Ryan was one of their mentors in the football program. And so the collective world started happening in the fall of 21. And both TJ and Matt were like, hey, we got to get something going here or else we're going to get left behind. Fast forward to March, Tyrese Hunter leaves, and all of a sudden it was like, oh crap, our worst fears are coming to fruition right in front of our face. We need to spin something up quickly. So those two didn't know each other real well. They combined forces rather than have a men's basketball collective and a football collective. They got together and formed this, it was really a smart move looking back, a 501c3 with the effort of doing good in the community by raising funds. And we took that seriously, like we really did.
Yeah, you did.
Our Iowa State athletes ended up spending about 3,000 community hours over a couple of years. So they legit, and they enjoyed it. I think it really had a positive impact, by the way. I know we got made fun of sometimes of, oh, these guys are, but it really had a positive impact. So that was the genesis of it. So they started the collective, but they're all successful business folks that have big, important jobs. And fundraising kind of fizzled out that summer after a really quick online push. So I was in the College of Business at the time. I knew Harklaw through the radio stuff, but also I was trying to get him to do a scholarship in the Ivy College of Business. So I met him for some cocktails. I was asking him for money. He turned the tables on me. He goes, wait a second, you're not expecting this, but have I got an opportunity for you? And I was like, all right. So he's like, we need somebody that has fundraising background that Iowa State fans at least are aware of, because our group, we need somebody to do this, but yet we don't have the time and expertise to do all this and have all of our jobs. So they're like, would you be interested? And at first I'm like, no. I kind of saw what NIL was. I'm like, I want no part of that. That is not what I believe in college sports. But the coolest thing happened. I left that meeting like, well, I guess I'll think about it. Went and talked to Chris Williams that night, because Chris lives 5 doors from me. That's not made up. And Chris literally said, he's like, Blum, like, if we want Iowa State to survive, we got to be good at NIL. Like, Chris was a fortune teller in a lot of ways. Like, you're gonna have to be competitive here. And he was also hearing from TJ of how pissed TJ was that they just lost the freshman of the year to Texas, and they were afraid that was going to happen again. And so Chris basically said, like, if you're not going to do it, who's going to do it? And I was like, anybody else would be more capable.
Right. Thanks a lot, Williams.
Yeah. And so now it's like weighing on my mind. And then the next day, I had a great relationship. He still is a mentor to me. Dean David Spalding, who was the dean of the College of Business, was my boss at the time. David then became, he was the interim president of Iowa State from January this year until President Cook got hired. Amazing transformational leader, the best leader I've ever been, really was. So I went into David's office like, hey, I'm not asking for a raise here. Like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I wanted to make you aware of the situation, because it was hilarious. We'd go on these donor visits, and Dean Spalding was an amazing fundraiser. And he's like, Bloom, I don't care about the donor we're going to see. What's going on with Campbell? Like, what's going on with TJ? What are we doing? What are we doing in recruiting? Like, he wanted all this info. And so I think that's why he kept me around, is because I could kind of be his sports guy just to entertain him when we're on the road. Well, so I went in there. I'm like, hey, there's this NIL thing going on, and they were interested in maybe me having run it. And he stops me. He goes, Brent, listen to me. I'm being serious here. I was like, okay, David. For the good of Iowa State, you need to take that job.
Oh,
and I was
wow.
like, okay. I was not expecting that. And he said, here's the deal. I know how important NIL is going to be. You need to go take that job because you will be good at it. And I was like, I don't know about that. But he goes, but what helped me out, he goes, and to make your wife feel better, if that thing fizzles out, or if it all goes to heck in a handbasket, you always have a job back here at the Ivy College of Business ready for you, just in case it blows up. And so at that point, I'm like, all right, I guess we're going to go do it. And so that was in early July, August 1, I took over. And I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a database. Iowa State was not allowed to share anything, guys. So I still remember it like it was yesterday. It was state fair time in the state of Iowa. And so I came up with this ridiculous idea. I got a plastic butter cow and like a fake corn dog. And I took a picture and put it online. I'm like, let's get a gift for We Will from every county in the state of Iowa to celebrate the state fair. And that was the first fundraiser we did, was some plastic butter cow. And we ended up getting gifts from like 55 of the 99 counties in Iowa. And I was like, okay, we could maybe do something here. And it just steadily grew. That first month we raised like 30,000, and then it grew, and then it grew, and then 3.5 years in, it was an $8 million operation. So really dumb luck and good timing, but I think the world of everybody I mentioned in that story, and they're a big part of why I got into it, but also they're good people. And that's why I love Iowa State to begin with, was the people. And then there's all the stuff that came with it, but so Ryan Harklaw, Jason Luch, David Spalding, Chris Williams, you're all to blame.
They're all to blame. Let's listen. We got about 15 more minutes, so I want to be cognizant of your time. I'm going to take these breaks really quick so we can come back, and then we can dive into a couple other things, and then what you're doing now and what made that decision and things like that, and what's next for the Blooms. So let's get a word from our sponsors. Surprisingly enough, one of them is We Will Pizza. Look at that.
Let's be honest. Pizza is something almost every family enjoys. You're already grabbing one at the store. So why not choose the best tasting pizza that also supports a cause we all care about? That was the challenge behind We Will Pizza. Create the ultimate frozen pizza for Cyclone fans. Big flavor, bold toppings, and options for everyone, including gluten-free choices that don't sacrifice taste. And if you haven't tried it yet, the real MVP? The breakfast pizza. Perfect for early kickoffs, tailgates, or watch parties when Hilton Magic or Jack Trice Energy is calling. Every bite helps benefit Iowa State student athletes, so your game day spread does more than just taste amazing. It gives back. We Will Pizza. Made for Cyclone fans, built for tailgates, and ready whenever you are. We will, you will, Cyclones will. In the heart of Des Moines, one name has stood above the rest. Iowa Beef Steakhouse. Step inside, and you enter a place where tradition still matters, where the atmosphere feels familiar, warm, and unmistakably Iowa. Service isn't rushed. It's personal, attentive, and rooted in genuine care. And before the main event, the freshest start in the city, our signature salad bar, crafted every single day. Then comes the reason people have returned for generations. Iowa beef, hand-seasoned with pride. Guided by flame, forged by heat. This is where flavor becomes legend. Served with the same care it was crafted with. A meal meant to be remembered. And whether the night calls for bold, smooth, or something in between, our bar offers a selection as rich as our history, including the old-fashioned we've become known for. Balanced, timeless, unforgettable. And long after the fire cools, the glow of this place stays with you. Iowa Beef Steakhouse, 1201 East Euclid Avenue, Des Moines, Iowa, where Iowa comes for steak, done right.
All right. We'll get the rest of those after we have Brent on. So, Brent, let me ask you this, and correct me if I'm wrong on the timing.
Yeah.
But your tenure officially ended when? January 1st, is that right?
Yeah, so I was pretty much done November 1st.
Okay.
So I had informed the people at Iowa State around November 1st. But my tenure officially ended at the end of the year, correct?
So let me ask this question, and again, you're welcome to not answer it. I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, all good.
But the end of the Campbell era, there were some heavy rumors that a lot of that had to do with how NIL was being handled going forward and how much control Coach Campbell would have. I'll let you speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, I what I would just say in general, and again, I nobody knows exactly what Matt was thinking, and I never had a direct conversation with Matt about it. I would say, just from being around Matt in the months previous, there certainly was a want for more resources. Whether that was Matt running his own NIL or any of that stuff, what I learned in this space is everybody wants more. And understandably so, because those guys are worried about, well, if my guys are going to get more, I'm going to need more to keep them, and on and on and on. So, yeah, it was there's no dispute that Matt wanted more NIL support. That doesn't mean that he wasn't given. I get weirdly wrapped up in the whole control of it, because The issue is at Iowa State, unlike a lot of places, and Williams and I talk about this on the CF podcast all the time, the Big Ten schools like Iowa are getting another $30, $35, $40 million a year in conference revenue through TV rights. And so they have more ability to use those funds to wipe away operational costs. So they can then dictate a lot of their corporate people to support more NIL. And then those schools a lot of times allow their football and basketball staffs to quote unquote find their own NIL that they can use for their players. Where Iowa State was in a position last fall of they didn't have enough to cover the basic operational stuff. So I totally understand why. I know Matt wanted more input on NIL and can we help find more for our guys? Great, but you know what that's going to do? Because I lived it. I lived it on the previous end in April. Guess who was upset that we raised money for the men's basketball team in a lot of ways? The football staff. Because that's less for them. Or in their minds, and I totally get it, like it was never a, oh my gosh, screw you, I'm done with you type of thing. It was just it's a supply and demand thing. We raised, again, I said it earlier, an extra $2.5 million in 2 months. Well, guess who probably didn't have the $2.5 million to then give to the football team? Those same donors.
Right.
And so there wasn't this endless supply. And so the reason why that whole thing became an ordeal is, yes, they wanted more, but you can't keep hitting up the same people for unlimited funds. And so you're in a box. Like everybody was in a box. Yes, one of the reasons Matt went to Penn State is because they have more resources. That is not disputable. That is one of the reasons. Was it the only reason? No. I mean, I think there was a lot of things going on. In a perfect world, guys, if Iowa State had a Big Ten budget and had the same resources that Penn State has, Matt Campbell is still the head coach at Iowa State. I believe that. I really do. But that's not the case.
Right.
To leave you on a good news, it does seem like, and I'm not in it day to day, but it seems like some of those policies have loosened a little bit more since the new president came on board.
Oh.
And again, I don't know all the details, but that is not as much of a concern for TJ, this portal, as it was for Matt in December. And so it all came from a healthy place. Everybody was trying to do the right thing. You had the coaches trying to fight for the guys by raising more dollars. You had the administration saying, well, we can't just beat up every donor when we've got all this stuff that we need over here to pay your salary, coach. So how are we going to sacrifice that to pay this? And also we got a men's basketball team that's going to have players to pay too, and a women, and on and on and on. So yeah, that whole thing, and I admit that I was, unfortunately, I probably said some things on a podcast or otherwise that may have gotten not taken the wrong way, because I said at the time that I thought this may have been preventable if Iowa State had more NIL abilities. It didn't. They weren't going to get it overnight.
Right.
And so, yes, I think in a different world, if Iowa State had Big Ten money, Matt Campbell is still the head coach here. It didn't happen. Iowa State had to pivot, and here we are. But I don't fault anybody. Everybody was doing what they thought was right for the time and place that they were in. Matt for himself and his players. Jamie Pollard for Iowa State Athletics, President Winterstein for Iowa State University. All of these things can be true in the same light. And I think a lot of times in this era, we always want to blame somebody. And we're seeing it right now with the women's basketball situation. Well, you always want to blame somebody, but ultimately there's a lot of reasons. And I hate to be that guy, but a lot of the reasons were not created by anybody who's making the decision. Like, it is above all of us. And I wish I could control the out of control spending by everybody else. But it's an ego game, and some of these people in these bigger schools that have more money, it's all ego. And so they say they want rules, but then when you put in rules, they cheat.
Right. So
it's like, what do you want here? And so again, yes, I'm not trying to like be political here. Yes, Matt wanted more, absolutely wanted more. Do I think Iowa State could have maybe got a little more creative? Like, I think there's probably some things they could have done, but I don't know if it was ever going to be enough to keep Matt happy enough to stay long-term. And ultimately, Iowa State had to make a tough choice, and that was not try and mortgage everything to keep Matt Campbell, and here we are.
I think you bring up a really good point about conference money. I'm up here in Minneapolis, right? Like the 5th largest public university in the country, Big Ten money, absolute garbage NIL program, right? It is embarrassingly bad because they can rely so much on Big Ten money. But you have all of these Fortune 500 companies around here. You've got millionaires all over the place. You have all of these people coming from the Carlson School of Management that should be able to support this athletic program. And the athletic program at the University of Minnesota is
Struggling a little bit, yeah.
they
Yeah.
are struggling, right? And
Yeah.
and they should have all of these resources, and they lean back on that. Whereas Iowa State in the Big 12 didn't have anything to lean back on, and so NIL became an even greater percentage, like those collectives
Well
and
said.
those
Yeah.
things, a greater percentage of that I don't think people are fully appreciating.
Yeah, and I just again, I come back to there doesn't have to be a villain in everything. Like, there's not just a bad guy here. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you caused this or you did this. And I'll say the same thing, guys. It was hard on me to see the fans a lot of times call out the players that went to Penn State or went somewhere else, because I know the truth of what their situation was. There's a couple fifth-year seniors that quite candidly wanted to stay at Iowa State. But the new staff, and I don't blame the new staff, didn't have the resources that they got offered elsewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these guys got offered half to a third of what they made last year at Iowa State. What are they supposed to do? It's just, I think it's a lot easier to say, well, I'm a loyal, forever true. Like,
Sure.
I would never do that.
Right.
But when you're 20 and you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars of difference, it's a lot easier to say, well, I wouldn't have done that. When you're
I would.
That's what it's like. I had empathy for everybody involved there, and I do think the new Roger staff has done an unbelievable
I do
job
too.
in a ridiculously difficult situation to
I do
rebuild that program. And I've heard awesome things
And the
about everybody
perception of it.
and all
and the
of it.
perception of it. We had Keaton Roskop on Side the Storm,
Keaton's great.
and he used the word violent probably 7 times, and I was like, I keep like, I love it.
And I talked to Matt McCarney the other. He was up here this weekend, and they're doing so many great things. I hope Iowa State fans give them a chance. I
think
do.
they will.
I think they will too. I mean, that's why Iowa State fans are. That's where it comes. That's what loyal forever true is. I have a hard time when you're bagging on an athlete for trying to do what they think is right for them. A lot of these guys aren't going to the NFL or the NBA, and so this is their chance to. And it's hard. I mean, I had a local Iowa kid who I developed a pretty good relationship with, who left, and he's like, Blum, I don't think I go to my hometown anymore. I'm like, yeah, you can. Like, it's gonna be okay. Like, these guys had to make some really tough calls, and quite candidly, a lot of them wasn't their choice. It was kind of made for them based on the resources out there.
Well, you look at Iowa fans and how they treated Caden Proctor.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a little different, but I'm with you. Like, these kids are going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and if they're not going to go to the NFL or the NBA, that's probably more money than they'll make going straight out of college when they go into the working force or whatever else to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So I get that. I think what the pushback was, just from a fan's perspective,
yes,
was let's use the women's basketball team, for example. Not every one of those girls is going to move and make more money than they were and be in a better playing situation.
truth.
So for them to make that jump, it makes you question, to your point, who the bad guy is and what the culture is, right? That's
Totally.
So I think a bit of both of those can be true.
Absolutely. And I would say I'm as guilty as anybody. Trying to assume a decision for a 20 and 21-year-old is hard.
That's fair.
Like, you don't know. I mean, shoot, I think back if I got homesick, and I was from Des Moines. Like, there's a lot going on for some of these people that are in high stress environments too, that it's not always NIL, or it's not just I don't like my coach, or it's not this and that. Sometimes it's just they want a change of scenery, and not every transfer is all the same.
Right.
I also just think I say this full chested as a sports fan. Sports fans are the dumbest people in the world. The number of Nebraska fans that wanted now 2026 AP National Coach of the Year Freddie Hoiberg fired a year ago, and only to have him go on and lead them to the most wins in program history, the highest rankings in program history, 2 NCAA tournament wins, like everything that he accomplished there this year. The short-sightedness of fans is just
It is, Tim, but here's the other thing that I think I tell always anybody who would listen, not many people did. The fans are getting hosed throughout all this too.
sure.
So like it is hard to be a fan right now. You're getting asked and asked and asked. Nobody is considering what you're going through. And yeah, so while I feel for the players, less so honestly for the coaches, the administrators, because they chose this world in some regard. And I think they've taken advantage the system. I'm not saying individuals at Iowa State or, you know what I'm saying, the system of college athletics has taken advantage of this system for a long time. But it's the fans that keep getting the raw end of the deal here. And nobody's fighting for them. And that's what's frustrating, because I don't think we're there yet. TV ratings are still really good, but you know, just anecdotally from more and more of my friends who are like, do I really want to continue to put myself through this when I don't even know who's going to be on the team next year? It is just it makes it hard. And so I hope common sense will prevail at the high end, and we're not just chasing the dollar. It's like, how do we make this a better fan experience? Because like the portal, like NIL, when it's too late, it's too late. When you lose somebody, like baseball underwent with a strike there in 94.
Mm-hmm.
It took, some of those people never came back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that it's to that degree, but you're going to start people are going to start losing faith in the product if you know you can't compete, or it becomes too much of just a business. And I think we're perilously close to that happening. And I would warn, and I've tried to just like, and I would encourage Iowa State too, is like, one of the things I was most proud of with We Will is we were very everyday fan driven. It wasn't just for the biggest donors. It was, you know, we had meet and greets and we had things for everybody. And I know,
Hey,
Chris,
how many Venmo?
Yeah,
3572, donations did you get based off of, rushing yards or whatever? I mean, that's what was so much fun, to be honest with you. And I know you took heat, but I mean, I think you should shotgun beers all the time.
Well, that's what I'm going to be 500 pounds. No, but so that was like one of the things.
Shut the fuck up.
I remember I had a meeting. It was early on in the process. And it's somebody that's not at Iowa State anymore, but they said, I think you spend too much time on the $5 and $10 donors. I said, I appreciate the feedback. I disagree, because those $5 and $10, number one, they add up. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would say as a whole, Iowa State has not done a great job in the last 20 years of engaging some of those folks. But two,
we could have a whole conversation about that, because
but that's your next generation of people, and you're not going to become a $10,000 donor unless you start somewhere. And right. I just think as a whole, I'm not saying as somebody at Iowa State, I would say as an industry, everybody got it really comfortable with the status quo of all these TV dollars are rolling in, all of the tickets, all the parking, you had to give a donation. So it became very much like what was that old guy that had the rotisserie chicken, like a set it and forget it, and people are just gonna,
right.
You had to, like, the only way to participate is you had to. Well, all of a sudden, you priced out a lot of people that didn't feel engaged, and everyone got a little bit too comfortable. And then when you needed them, it's like, you lost traction. That's my fear of specifically the grassroots of all fan bases, of not engaging with them. And I still think Iowa State could do a much more effective job of engaging some of those folks, because everybody matters, not just the $10,000 donor.
I think it's a fair point. I'd rather have 60,000 fans in a stadium that can afford to be there rather than 10 fans that can pay the same.
Yeah, and you guys, I'm not naive. Like, I know how the numbers work in fundraising. It's the 90-10 rule. 90% of the dollars come from 10% of the people. I get that.
Yep.
But I think you're getting dangerously close to people in that other 90% are just going to stop enjoying it, and then it dries up pretty quickly. So it's a dangerous game to play.
Well, Brent, I want to get you out of here. Two things on that point really quick. in not last year, but the year before when I went and did my taxes and added up just those Venmos or whatever else, I think I gave $600 to, and there's no way I would have sat down and thought, I'm going to write a $600 check here. Right. So to your point, it was super important.
Well, and then that's where, and Chris, like, you were a big part of the last 4 years of Iowa State's success. And I hope every fan felt that, because you were. I'm telling every single dollar. And sometimes I don't think the fans get thanked enough throughout this whole deal. It's always, oh, well, you should do more. No, thank you.
Well, I appreciate it.
What I learned is I want to just borrow $5 from Chris every day. Rather than
just ask him for a Venmo, right? Just, hey, Chris.
Just send me a Venmo request.
Hey, Chris. Taman scored $10 today. How about 10?
Yeah. So hey, Brent, I want to thank you very much for being on. We didn't really get into what you're doing today, but is there anything you kind of want to talk about? If you want to plug, you want to sell some insurance on?
I would love.
I just want to know if he's my insurance agent or not.
Chris, by the way, I was going to tell you, I am going to be. I'm in my. I don't know it's not a probation. Probation's the wrong word, but I have to get up to speed for 6 months before they hand the VIPs off to me like you. So, you got to get trained up first. I
think you can handle me in 3 weeks, my friend.
Yeah. So thanks for asking, guys. So I'm with Farm Bureau. So my guy, Ryan Harklaw, who got me involved with the collective, him and Colin Newell, former Cyclone. Colin's my new boss, and he's unbelievable. Nice. He's an unbelievable person. But yes, so agentbrent.com is my new website. That's a Crystal Blum idea, agentbrent.com. But so I'm doing life, home, auto, all that fun stuff, and I can sell insurance to anybody in Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, Arizona, and Kansas right now. And at the very least, I'm loving it, I really am, because just like doing the NIL stuff or doing the podcast, I love meeting people, and I love trying to help. And I know, sometimes the insurance, you're just asking. I'm trying to help people to make sure that all their stuff's taken care of. And if it makes sense, it makes sense. But I would love I love working with Iowa State people. And the best part about what I got to do with NIL with Cyclones helping Cyclones, it's the same thing. Just instead of helping Jalen Old, Jaden Higgins, and Taman Lipsey, we're helping you all out. Make sure you're all good to go with your coverages. So appreciate the opportunity.
Well, there you go, folks. Agent Brent. It is not just a dollar store Tom Cruise movie. It is actually where you need to go to get all of your insurance needs.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much.
Brent, thank you very much. You go watch the rest of that national championship game. Enjoy yourself. We really appreciate you, you hopping on.
Appreciate your hustle. Have me on anytime, guys, and keep up the great work. And hey, I'm gonna go grab a piece of We Will pizza.
There you go.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we're going to take another break, and then Tim and I will come up and wrap the show, and we'll watch our viewership drop like a stone.
Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's why choosing the right real estate team matters. The Jenny Farrell team with RE/MAX Concepts has been helping families across the Des Moines metro find the right home since 1998. Born and raised right here in the community, Jenny understands the neighborhoods, the market, and what truly makes a house feel like home. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading your space, or preparing to sell, the Jenny Farrell team provides expert guidance every step of the way, from market analysis and listings to negotiations and closing. Their consultative approach means you'll feel confident, informed, and supported throughout the entire process. Jenny Farrell Team, RE/MAX Concepts. Call or text 515-779-7500. Visit jenniferfarrell.remax.com. Experience you can trust. Results you can move into.
Gentlemen, let's be honest. Finding the perfect gift for your wife or girlfriend isn't always easy. You want something thoughtful, stylish, and unique. And that's exactly what you'll find at Styled by JJ Boutique. Julia Bradshaw and her team strive to be your go-to boutique for casual, boho, and chic clothing and accessories, helping women elevate their style one piece at a time. Located right here in Johnston, Iowa, Styled by JJ brings trendy, high-quality fashion that boosts confidence without breaking the bank. So, if you're looking for a gift that says, I get you, instead of I tried, head to Styled by JJ Boutique. Because nothing makes her smile like feeling beautiful. Styled by JJ Boutique, where style meets confidence. Visit our Johnston location or shop online at styledbyjjboutique.com.
Whether you're buying, selling, or refinancing your home, or if it's simply time to renovate the one you're already living in, you need an experienced mortgage professional to help you analyze your financing options and to make sure the closing goes smoothly. And that's exactly what you get when you call Kyle Lehman at Wintrust Mortgage. Kyle's experience and expertise, coupled with Wintrust's rates and programs, ensures you'll get the mortgage that's right for you. You may even qualify for down payment assistance. Before you reach out to a realtor, call Kyle and get pre-qualified, empowering you to start shopping for the home of your dreams. Call Kyle at 515-473-0546. Kyle Lehman Wintrust Mortgage, 515-473-0546.
Welcome back to Old Man Ad Reads. Seriously, Chris, every 5 minutes, new sponsored. Nice work. I tell you one thing I love about that Brent Blum is that he is very genuine, right? Like he's charismatic.
Yeah, he is.
But he's and you know, I have no doubt that he's a good fundraiser, a good salesman, good insurance guy, but it's not because he charms me so much as he engenders trust, right? Like he's honest, he's earnest. I don't know what the difference between those two words is, but there is a distinction there.
God knows I don't.
Really genuinely enjoy talking to him every time we get a chance to. And really happy that he is continuing to find. I mean, seriously, the dude has already worked a career in a 4-year span. He deserves to retire from one industry and go into another for sure.
I mean, it was really the perfect storm these last 6 years with Coach Campbell and TJ coming on, and then Brent running this collective, and Crystal being heavily involved. I mean, Brent was pretty adamant. Crystal, he couldn't have done it without Crystal. And and you want to talk about, it's very tough to work side by side with a spouse, like to be able to do that and then still have your home life and things like that. Like that, I know they went through a lot of hard work and things like that, and they took a lot of unnecessary flack. Those teams that they put together and helped form and put together, we just wouldn't be in the position without the Blums. So that being said, I think to your point, Blum is so genuine and things like that I think he sometimes holds back on some of the things that he shouldn't hold back on. Right? He when he said earlier on the pod that, you know, he misspoke on the podcast and whatever, I think he doesn't need to apologize for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's so genuine about making sure that he's not stepping on anybody's toes and things like that. He just doesn't give himself enough credit, I think.
I guess in that sense, I'm glad that he got out of he was a clean man in a dirty industry. Maybe.
Oh, man.
You know, what I mean
sure.
is that not that he's not cut out for the wheeling and dealing and for the hobnobbing and all of that stuff, but you know, the bit that you and I have gotten to know him as well as through other people, because he, like, I don't know, I just think about like when you look at the world of college athletics, specifically college basketball, can I just point out that I was so happy to see St. John's and Arkansas go down, because Rick Pitino and John Calipari are the two smarmiest.
Yes.
Right. Like they make Bill Self look like Fred Hoiberg in some ways. Like they're so sleek. Like they look like they're straight out of central casting for a mafia movie. Like all of that stuff, that when you see some of these more genuine coaches come in, you're very excited. Brent is one of those guys to me that is more genuine and optimistic. And that's what I love is that he's not throwing people under the bus on the way out the door. He's a much better man than I am, obviously. Uh, and he maintains positivity throughout it all. Man, he had 2 young kids through all this stuff too.
Yeah.
When I had 1 young kid, I wanted to punch everybody in the face in public. like
No shit.
seriously, all of the shit that he put up with. So happy to see him in a place that's doing well. So again, agentbrent.com. Go ahead, please. Check him out as well. Not that he is a sponsor of this podcast, but give Chris 5 minutes and I'm sure he will be.
Right. Listen, man, gotta hustle. Around here.
I know, although I wonder if Iowa Beef regrets having you in there.
Hey, that was a damn good drink.
It looked like a damn good drink.
Good.
And
Dude, Brent,
you're Iowa Beef, right? In that thing. Like,
yeah. No, that's okay. Bill Blank just unmercifully fucking unloads on me every time I order an old fashioned somewhere whenever we do a show together. Because like you make those people fucking muddle, and you know how much they hate doing that. Those fucking bartenders are over there bitching right now.
Also old fashions. I can tell you're from Iowa and or Wisconsin because you should not muddle the fruit in an old fashioned.
Really?
You are not supposed to muddle the fruit. That is a very Midwestern thing. You should not be muddling your fruit in your old fashioned.
Shut up.
Any respectable bartender will tell you do not muddle the fruit in your old fashioned.
Why?
Yeah.
You can't just drop a statement and then not tell me why.
Because when you're pressing all of those skins and then you're releasing these terrible tannins that you don't want in there, it's an added step. It creates a murky, unpleasant to look at drink, and it creates all flavors that you don't want. You should not be muddling your fruit in your old fashioned.
Jesus. I'm totally showing Bill this tomorrow night. So
You'll be
vindicated.
Yeah, you go ahead and show it. What do you mean show him no? I'm sure he is watching live right now.
He's not watching live right now. I guarantee you. He's smoking his vape pen right now, scrolling on Facebook dating, trying to get his next victim. So
that is I am very worried for the time that he and I actually get together for a drink. I think things might get
July 18th, company cookout.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so
Josh is gonna come play.
Yeah,
player's gonna come play, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah. Is Josh told me he was coming. He's not going to be anywhere near the cities. I want to get him up here.
Oh, he's not?
No, he's going to be in Minnesota. He's not going to be near the cities. He and I exchanged some messages. Man, we've got some good things going on at Three Beards Media. Chris, you want to talk about anything else we've got going on?
So we haven't quite announced it yet. Speaking of Billy and Willie's workshop, but starting, well, they're gonna do a live comedy show at Chuck's Restaurant on Northeast 6th Street on May 30th, and then every fourth Saturday from there on out, we're gonna do a special live episode of Billy and Willie's Workshop live from Chuck's Restaurant. So we're going to bring in, we're going to kind of tease a little bit of a starving comedian aspect of it. We're going to bring in a local comedian. They're going to do a set for 20 minutes and then join Bill and Willie on the pod and talk about their set and kind of critique it. And we're going to do all that live. So, and then, we're getting into the off season. So Tracking the Storm is going to start ramping back up with guests from Cyclone history and stuff like that. They've got Tom Randall, who played in the 60s and 70s, I think, and played for the Packers and things like that. He's going to be their next guest. So we got a lot going on. We're very blessed here. So very blessed.
Yeah, we've had some really great stuff here. I really enjoyed Marcus Pfizer's take on Milan's draft potential. It's fun to see someone who went through the lottery and went through that whole process, and obviously very different era, right? Like
Yep.
like his take is from a different time, but it was very fun to see him talk about that. Yeah, we a lot of active stuff here. We'd like to make sure that people are going and checking out our socials, Instagram, YouTube,
We're on Blue Sky. We're
Blue
on
Sky,
Threads. We
Threads. We're on Friendster. We're on all of.
I don't,
I
don't even know what
actually
that
just
is.
I fired up a GeoCities page for us. So do you want to know how old I feel right now? I stopped off for a drink at happy hour before the pod and got talking to a gentleman, and Digital Underground came on the radio, and he forgot Shock G's name, and I said it, and he said thank you, and he said I think we're the same age, and then he told me, and he was 10 years older than me, and he looked 10 years older than me, and so I don't know if it's that I knew Shock G from Digital Underground or if I just look 10 years older. I feel 10 years older. I will say that. So I'm putting the old in old man strength tonight for sure.
This might shock you. I don't know who Shock G is, and I don't know what that disco thing is that you just said either.
Digital Underground, the Humpty Dance. You know the Humpty Dance.
Okay, that I know. All right,
you were in college when that came
the Humpty
out.
Dance. All right, you got to say the word of the song.
It's your
All right?
chance to do the hump. Well, Digital Underground actually played at the M Shop. Did you know that?
No, I never went to that. I never went to the M Shop. Dude, I was 3 semesters on campus at the Towers. Once I got my fat ass back to the Towers at the end of the night, I wasn't fucking going back in there. If I lived on campus, then okay, maybe.
You know, Smashing Pumpkins also played there before they were big.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I saw a lot of great things. I saw Jack Johnson when he was a tiny little thing. I saw DU there. Taj Mahal, Sun Seals, like a lot of great.
I swear to God, I have no idea any of those people.
Well, that does not.
I think
surprise
you're
me
picking
at
these
all.
obscure people.
Taj Mahal is a
purposely, so I don't know.
blues. Taj Mahal is a blues legend. Sun Seals
Well,
blues legend.
I look. I know people think this is a bit. I don't think I've listened. I don't think I've ever heard a blues song in my life. I mean, maybe BB King, but I couldn't tell you what he's saying.
The thrill is gone. Nothing. No.
If I heard it, maybe, but
I don't know. I introduced a young coworker to the Dave Clark 5 today, and he didn't think he'd heard anything. What?
I don't have any idea who that is.
The Dave Clark 5. They're a British beat band from the mid '60s. I think it was Glad All Over. Knocked off. Please, like, or I Want to Hold Your Hand. They had so many great songs. They were sort of a proto punk band of the 1960s from Britain.
I'm looking at them right now. Never heard of them.
Oh my God. So when you were raised in this cave, did you use a candle or a torch to be able to?
Look, man, my parents were not very into that kind of stuff. So
yeah, that's why you rebel like a normal teenager and experience other things.
I watched a lot of movies. All right. That's the VCR came out. I didn't have to go to the movie theater. I watched a shit ton of fucking movies.
I figured in your day it was all reel to reel, and you had to swap the reel off mid.
No.
I tried to explain to my coworkers that literally every movie we ever watched in school was on a reel to reel.
Oh yeah.
projector,
100%.
And they did not. Dude, so I told a story about when my dad crossed over into East Germany, crossed the Berlin Wall, and my coworker could not help it. She just started exploding in laughter and went, "How old are you?" And I was like, "I predate communism." Yeah. Or the fall of communism. Like, I don't get how that's not that. And then I did the math and, well, yeah, that is that old. But still, I like the idea, because we had just listened to Scorpions' Winds of Change,
Yes.
which is
I know that
literally
song.
about, yeah.
I know that song.
Yeah. We had literally just listened to that earlier in the day, and I'm telling the story about the fall of the Berlin Wall. And she thought it was like from like the 60s or something, the 70s. I'm like, was it 89? Was the fall of the wall?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. With this whole Artemis 2 launch, trying to explain the Challenger explosion and how that happened, and our teacher just turned it off and went, "Well, let's go do fractions." Like, like, like there was no like addressing of anything. I realize why I'm such a bitter old man, I guess, is that I literally watched a teacher explode on live TV, and my teacher
Right.
went, so reconstruction.
I brought Caitlin in here because we just had a conversation yesterday about East and West Germany and how that worked.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday? I think it was a couple days ago, but I asked a question and you just looked at me like, are you serious?
So Caitlin, there was a literal wall, not like a figurative wall, a literal wall.
Well, I knew that part because the Ankeny Show Choir did a show
This is where
about
the Ankeny
the
Show
wall and the wall
Choir.
coming down.
The Ankeny Show
that's
Choir.
what brought this up.
Hey, the Ankeny
You're-
Show Choir.
you're
the Ankeny
learning-
Centennial Show Choir was on something. Okay,
you're
they did
learning-
Titanic the next year.
You're learning world history through the Ankeny Show Choir. What? are
And
the
she
public-
teaches little kids now.
Yeah, I was
Hey,
gonna say
I call that extra
you are-
credit on a
you are-
Saturday.
you are a school teacher, and you are having to learn about the Berlin Wall through the
Well, it's a
Ankeny.
good thing the
Show-
kindergartners. It's a good thing the kindergartners don't need to know about the Berlin Wall, Tim.
They did in 1989, Caitlin.
Right? Yes.
Well, we're not worried about the commies and stuff as much as
Well, we
were
should
back
be.
in your guys' day.
I mean, I'm just saying we should be.
Well, I was
don't
saying it
know.
was so funny that World War II, everyone was afraid of the Nazis, the extreme right. Post World War, Red Scare, everyone's afraid of the extreme left and communism.
She lost her. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get a snack.
Yeah,
she's got to go get a snack. You know what we need?
She needs some yeah.
We need another episode of her on here, just like catching us up on this year's slang. Because
we do.
now that she's living here, it's a struggle every day on my part.
Oh, I'm sure. Chris, at this point I'm rambling. I think it's more just it's good
Let's
to
end
catch
it.
up. Yeah, let's end it. Again, agentbrent.com. Go check him out. We're so grateful to have Brent Bloom. Check him out on the CF pod. I sent Williams an email the other day saying what a great job he's doing on the CF pod. He had some really great episodes. I don't know if you got that one with Jess Settles and George Yang. It was amazing.
I did. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. Iowa Everywhere is doing great. Like Bill and I were having a conversation the other night about how, there's Iowa Everywhere, and those guys are doing amazing and doing great content and things like that. And then you have Travis and Ross, who's doing the Rush Radio, and they're doing their morning show and whatever else. And then there's us. And,
I was gonna say,
we're doing.
Yeah, fuck all those other guys for being so good at what they.
saying-
No, I know.
But I'm saying, like, we are fitting a niche as well, right?
Yeah,
And we're doing stuff that they're not doing and things like that, and we all can coexist and support each other, and that's and they do. So it's just a nice thing to have for Iowa, and shout out to Sean Roberts at KXNO and Heather Burnside. Heather's had Bill and I on the radio show. Sean has our guys on from Chair Shots and Chokeholds. Like, it's everybody can support everybody. It's all local media.
Sean and Heather have been OG supporters of Three Beards Media.
100%.
Very grateful for all of them.
Yep.
Well, excellent. Let's wrap it up. Chris, are there 7 more sponsors that we need to make sure we tag?
No, we got everybody. No, I'll tag them on social media when I post everything later.
Okay. Well, when you put this on your angelfire.com, we'll figure this out.
I
Chris,
created some new AI music for my MySpace intro.
Oh God, it's gonna be like I'm an old man and I'm a man and I'm an old man. Guitar
All right, we're
riff.
ending the show before Tim continues to sing. Say goodbye, everybody. We're out of here.
Old man strength, built to last. Try to break me,